So yeah, we have a new setting because at this exact moment someone is in my previous setting doing exercise in this house. So this is what we have, and without further ado, let's hear it for my April wrap-up. Hello beautiful bookworms, my name is Katarina and welcome to my channel, and please ignore my hair, my pajamas, and the fact that I'm not in my usual place and I have strange lighting, but I just wanted to wrap up what I've read for April. And in April I participated in the Spring Equinox of Magical Readathon for the 2023 or 2023 year something, and I have now became a novice in necromancy, or as a necromancer, and I'm trying to fulfill more prompts to be even more known and studious in my area of expertise. So I had prompts. I had 8 prompts, and I'm going to just read them to you and tell you the books that I read to wrap them up. So the first prompt for the necromancer was shape-shifting, and we are learning about the form of the wolf. So the prompt was that the book had to have a wolf on the cover, title, or author's name, and in this case I chose The Wolf's Gift by Anne Rice, the graphic novel version, which was made art and adaptation by Ashley Mary Winter. So of course we have wolf on the title, and wolf is also one of the characters, since this is actually about werewolves. So as you probably can tell by a lot of my videos, I am more of a vampire person than a werewolf. I think that what makes me not like werewolves so much is kind of the fact of the rawness of their transformation, the pain that they go through, and all of the bestiality regarding to their behavior, and the fact that I cannot ship people with werewolves because I start thinking about alpha males and pack mentality and all of those things, and so I am not really a werewolf girl. However, I really enjoy the story because it's Anne Rice's writing. It's of course very poetic and very beautiful and very gothic in a way, and it's about this person that discovers this beautiful house owned by this beautiful woman, and he is attacked and bitten by an animal, and that woman has left the house to him, and he discovers there's a legacy of shape-shifting and werewolves in her family, and not exactly in her blood, but like somewhat in her blood. And it's very intriguing, it's very interesting. I enjoyed it. For a werewolf story, it was pretty cool. Then for the second challenge, we had to do animal studies, and in this case it was heads or tails, so I flipped a coin, and if it was heads it will be non-fiction, but fortunately for me it was tails, which meant fiction. So I forgot the book that I had to read for this prompt, and so because I read other 2 books for the month of April, I just used one of them for this because they were both fiction, and the book that I chose for this was Stars Like Gasoline by Jessica, wait, I know this name, Stars Like Gasoline by Jessica Grew Glover. Yeah, that's what it is. I really loved it. I'm going to try and leave the cover of the book on my face so that you guys can see it and appreciate it. It's basically a contemporary story about this woman. She finally returns home after a long time working abroad, and it's in Vero Beach, and she is an art curator at the museum, and it's about art, and it's about the ones we love, family and challenges and love, and she also possesses a very specific gift of being able to see souls that passed away, and most of those souls want to talk to her when she kind of does not want to. And it's about her and this beautiful man that she falls in love with, and all of this dynamic. It kind of looks a little bit like a romance novel. However, I couldn't say it was particularly a romance by itself. It had a lot of, you know, cozy environment kind of thing. I really loved it. I was part of the ARC team. This came out on the 25th of April, but I was able to read it sooner, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm really happy that I read it, and even happier that it counted for the readathon. Then for the third challenge, we had inscriptions, and for that we were going to learn glyphs. So for this case, flight. We had to choose a book from the top or highest shelf, and I filmed on my vlogs my boyfriend choosing one of the books from the top of our manga shelf for me to read, and that book was I Am a Hero Volume 1. This is the omnibus edition. It's by Kengo Hanasawa, and first of all, the art style of this is gorgeous, is incredibly beautiful, but second of all, I had a journey with this manga, because firstly, I was like, I hate the main character and I don't understand this manga, but then, I think I started to understand, and some emotional moments got to me, and some situations got to me, and also the fact that the main character is not exactly the main character that you're hoping to see in a book, or especially in manga. There are stereotypes, of course, for main characters, and he's not that. He is just a very anxious, lonesome, kind of loser at some points, but I mean, who isn't? And he was just very realistic in a sort of depressing way of how we see society at this moment, and men specifically, but he was kind of realistic, and it was enjoyable how he faced the fact that this is about a zombie apocalypse, and the apocalypse has just begun in this novel, in this manga, rather. And he's like, why are people going crazy? Because of course nobody's going to think that there's a zombie outbreak happening right where they live. And it was pretty interesting. I'm hoping to do a review for it more in depth, since I don't have the time to say what I wanted to say and to focus on the parts that I wanted to focus, but it's very interesting, and I'm hoping that I can get my hands on the rest of the series to kind of read more and see where this is going. Then for the fourth thing, we had Spells and Incantations, and it was Magic Missiles. So the length of the novel, manga, comics, whatever, had to be from 389 pages until 415 pages. So less or more was not possible. And I read something with 392 pages, which was Witches, the Complete Collection. I have a review for this that I've already filmed, but I don't believe it has come out yet, so pay attention to that, I guess. But this is by Daisuke Igarashi, and it's a manga series. It's the complete series of witches, and as I say on this review, this is basically an anthology of witches in different cultures throughout the world. We have Arabian stories, we have Amazonic stories, we have more kind of Germanish European stories. We have a lot of different ways to see witches, but the main focus of this is that these people are blessed with nature and with being a part of nature and with feeling and having to deal with the consequences of the good and the bad and everything that happens in nature. And as someone that believes a lot in energies and in feelings and in nature by itself and feels recharged every time that goes to nature, I found this perspective of what are exactly witches, the good, the bad, and the in-between, and how people are not totally bad, but they're not totally good either, but they had like these sorts of destinies and these sorts of ways to deal with what was going on in life. I just found it beautiful, and the art style is incredibly amazing, and for that reason alone, I know that this is a big manga, but I mean, it's just a standalone, and it pays off to read witches. And if you're one of those people that actually likes to read about witch stories but wants something different, this definitely is for you. Now, this next one was also one that I forgot that I had to do, but I kind of did, because it is Conjuration, and it is A Spirit Binding Spells, a book recommended by a friend. So I forgot the book that I had to read for this, but since I have read another book that a lot of people were recommending, and most of them are people that I know, maybe I can call them friends, I don't know, but I have read Damned to Hell by Mike Salt. So this is the re-edition of Them to Hell, and I was one of the lucky people that got to read an arc of this re-edition, and this came out on the 7th of April, so you can already go and purchase it. And I have a review for Them to Hell, which I'm going to leave a link up above, and I will leave the cover somewhere. It's basically a story of this man that has lost his son, and now he's lost everything that is good in his life. He's lost his wife, he's an alcoholic, he's lost his job, he's like in this terrible way. But he meets this woman and he wants to live with her and be able to get over with alcoholism and get over with this loss of his child. And one day one of his friends tells him, like, get really drunk and come to me and answered me this: what would you do if you could see your son one more time? And this is the beginning of a horror story that actually answers to the question of what is hell, and what would we do for one last chance with someone that we love. I won't spoil anything for you, but I really enjoyed it. The good thing of Mike Salt's writing is the characters and the way that they bring us fear, not because it's kind of like, oh no, it's hell, but because of the raw feelings that we meet when we are reading these things. Then the sixth one was Restoration, Oculi Cures, Close Your Eyes, Shuffle and Point, and I did this in a video, and the book that I got was Look Back by Tatsuki Fujimoto, and I have read this. This is a standalone. I also have a review for this, and I really liked it. I do believe that this manga is about the power of art and why do we create and we make art and for whom. I really love it. I don't have a lot more to say than I said on my review, so I'm just going to link it up above and send you guys there. But it was a perfect standalone manga, and it's incredibly short, so if you guys want to just have a little bit of inspiration for your creative life, I would totally recommend this one. Then the seventh one was for lore, and it was The Legend of Dia, a book with a map. And I read all 5 issues of MazeBook by Jeff Lemire. The map was only on the 3rd issue, so I kind of made it a way through all of the story and kind of considered that I've read the graphic novel version instead of the comic issues version, but I did read the comic issues version. So I kind of read 5 issues for this prompt, even though only one of it was a part of the prompt, but who cares? You can see I'm not very articulated today. Shit happens. But I really loved it. I also have a review for this, and I also will leave it linked up above, but it's one of the most beautiful stories about parenthood and about the loss of a loved one, and how that kind of makes you feel left behind and like you will forget and not have any of the memories of the people that you love and that were left behind in your process of growing, and how you can, or maybe not, start your life again or die trying, you know. And it's really beautiful. It is illustrated and written by Jeff Lemire, and this man can do no wrong. He can do no wrong. Then we have the last one, which was Demonology, and for that I had to read Type Impersonators, a book compared to your favorite. And for that one I chose The Witch Hat Atelier Volume 10 by Kamomi Shirahama, since it's a little bit compared maybe to the Harry Potter series or the Magos of the Library series, kind of all of those situations that have young people learning magic and kind of competing for a greater objective, and then they get pulled into this big evil that they have to solve because they're like the chosen ones. Yeah, that's it. That is what The Witch Hat Atelier is, and I love it. I have loved every single volume. I think I have given 5 stars to all of these volumes, and I cannot wait for the next volume in this series because things are getting darker really quickly, and I want to see where our main character is going to go. Before the month ended, I actually read, or rather listened to one more thing, and that was Metamorphosis, which is The Bleeding Ground Volume 8, and it's by Mason from Mason in the Dark, the YouTube channel. I'm going to leave it linked down below so you guys can check it out, and maybe leave the playlist of his narration of his creation right up above so you guys can listen to it as well. This one was a fairly dark but also very poignant and deep, and kind of I don't know, a break in what we were reading and just a transformation of characters and direction where the story was going. I really enjoy when Mason goes deep into those dark parts of what makes people people, and how he can relate different characters to one another, and it's just great. It's just great. I really loved it, and I am very happy that I am able to continue to listen to him. He's one of the best creators here on AuthorTube right now, and I think that you should listen to his works because they are incredible, and he's also incredibly funny. So that's that. So that's going to be all for today, guys. If you've read any of these books or want to talk about more books that are similar to these without spoilers, just tell me in the comments down below. I always love to know more of the books that you've read. If you want to tell me the best book that you read in April, for instance. And that's going to be all for today. If you like it, leave a like or subscribe, and happy readings to you all. Bye!